Welcome to Sharing Socks, it's May edition. I guess we're undefeated in May. We're recording this on May 2nd, and the White Sox are undefeated in May. In fact, unscored upon. I'm duty geezer Leigh Allan. With me, my son and currently Ohio Valley correspondent Will, who's in Cincinnati doing a play called Birthday Candles, which I've seen and which is great. All of you who are in the Cincinnati area, by all means. Actually, it's sold out.
Teeming with White Sox fans down here.
Yeah. Plus, it's sold out, so they can't get in. So I guess we don't need the plug.
True.
We are here at the White Sox actually on Thursday afternoon. Ended the Milwaukee series with a big win, including a huge day for Luis Robert Jr. In the first inning, robbing a grand slam by leaping up over the wall, and then having 4 RBIs as the game went on. Again, I said this in spring training after he had a big day. Trade him now. Before tonight's game, against Framber Valdez right now, he's probably not gonna get a grand slam or anything. And he's got a really good pitcher going tomorrow for Houston. Trade him now. Trade him for what you can get.
I said the exact same thing. I opened the ESPN app. I looked at the box score. I turned to my castmate and I said, I hope he's traded by the end of this show tonight, because we needed him to have a game that looked like that.
I mean, I watched the game, and he looked like 2023 Luis. He just looked great. Yes, they made mistakes that gave him the RBIs, but that's what you do if you're a good player. Pitcher makes a mistake, you cream it.
Yeah, capitalize on
the pitcher's throwing perfect sliders. Nobody hits him. But yeah, I mean, should trade him and let the poor man out of his misery. Let him go somewhere where there's a real baseball team for him to play with. This is not anybody just dropping in for the first time. We are not knocking Luis. We love Luis.
Yeah, we love him
for good reason. We just like him to get a break and get away from the White Sox.
I unfortunately I have a former coworker with the Dodgers who is also a White Sox fan. Great guy. And he will send me updates on how many players in the lineup he thinks are batting above my weight. This is like a running trend this season. So Luis, unfortunately, after a pretty good day yesterday, is now batting above my weight. He did get there. We still have quite a few that are well under my body weight, but he is now batting. He's up to, I think, 183.
183, yeah.
Which is not going to.
That's my weight, incidentally. So
yeah, it's not necessarily going to entice a lot of teams. However, and this is something we have not talked about much on here, the man has 13 stolen bases.
Yes, already. He leads the majors in stolen bases.
I mean, that is a great sign that he is motivated to get out of here. Obviously, 183 is not an ideal thing, but the OBP is at 295. Again, not a good number. However, seeing a Luis Robert on-base percentage that's over 100 points higher than a batting average is a good sign. It's a good sign compared to last year. He is being a little more selective at the plate. He's got a slightly better eye than he did last year. It's still not there. He's still swinging at crap. But I will say that and the stolen bases and then flashes of the glove like we saw last night do give me some hope that he is trending in the right direction to potentially make a pretty solid deal at some point this season. If he keeps trending, I mean, the stolen base thing is like the dollar signs flashing in my eyes, because stolen bases are back, baby. They're back. They're big. They're important.
Oh, the rules change sure helped that.
The rules change didn't just help that. It made it from no one's ever stealing bases again.
And the interesting thing is, and he is, if you say he's leading the majors, he's not on base very often. He's
I
still
know.
hitting 183. And the on base percentage, even though it's got that 100-point gap, is still under 300, which is very bad. And he's getting that many stolen bases. And then when he gets on, when he's hitting, he's got 4 homers too. So those, you can't steal a base after a home. He's only got 3 doubles, which is interesting. But
yeah, for a guy with the exit velocity like him, it's a little surprising that he doesn't have more balls that are making it to the wall.
it's just not. Yeah, he's not
But but
finding the
doubles don't
gaps.
doubles don't matter if you can steal
If you
bases like
steal
that.
second,
I
yeah,
mean, the name of the game right now with stolen bases, I was just reading an interesting piece about this, is they have become so important because, guys are stealing second at it's like 78% success rate right now, which they say the threshold for a manager to pull the trigger on things in baseball is 75% or higher. They're more likely to utilize whatever that aspect of the game is. They're stealing third at 74.8%. So it's just that number is actually shocking to me.
yes, the third base is shocking. I'm not surprised by the second base because I think last year it was 23% caught stealing, something like that. So that's not. Oh boy, suddenly we discovered this.
But
But
if you
yeah,
get a
he's
guy,
been caught 5 times. He makes some occasionally the premature jump, and that has led to that. I think he very seldom gets thrown out where actually he's at second base, but gets caught in the rundown on occasion, that kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, Luis, I just wish him well, and I hope he gets
but
out of here.
but if he can get that batting average up, even to what is not impressive in my mind, but if he can get that up to 225, if he can uptick that power just a little bit, and if he can keep stealing bases the way he's stealing bases, he will be valuable. Getting singles, getting walked, and those being almost automatic doubles is game-changing baseball play. I mean, if just getting you on first means you have a really good chance of being in scoring position within a pitch or two, that's huge. It's huge for teams. It's why you had a guy like Ohtani last year, who I'm sure a lot of times, Dave Roberts was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm going to hurt the best player in the world
Yeah.
by letting him steal 50 something bases." But the Dodgers were in a huge drought where they needed runners in scoring position, and Ohtani got that done when they needed it. When that team was decimated by injuries, getting him into scoring position off of every walk and single was a big deal. And if Robert,
I've seen chat remarks of people saying, "Why are you letting Robert steal when he might get it?" Well, first of all, it's nice to score a run every once in a while. Yes, whether they lose 110 games or 120 doesn't matter because Colorado is going to set the new record at about 135. But yeah, there's a chance to get certain, but you're also showing off your player. You're helping your team, which is important, and you're showing off the guy who's really your best player, even if he isn't performing that way. But let's get to a couple of the guys who've been surprisingly good.
Okay.
Miguel Vargas started out the season like he was going to hit 104 again, like he did last year once he came over from the Dodgers. Of course, you've met him. He was a beloved guy in the Los Angeles clubhouse. And I presume
guy.
he's beloved in the White Sox clubhouse. Some minor change a week ago, less than a week ago, where they got him holding his hands higher and changing his grip. And I haven't looked up the stats, but he's hit about 500 since then. I mean, he's on a tear. He had a 3-run homer on Thursday. He's been terrific. Now, when that kind of thing happens, a player adjusts his stance and his way he's going about it. The league takes a little while to adjust back, and it may be that, and I'm just making up what the situation is, but let's say because his hands were low, he couldn't hit a high fastball. Now maybe with his hands up higher, he can hit high heat, but they find out after a while, well, yeah, if you put it under his hands, he's in big trouble. They'll find out. They'll adjust. He's not going to hit like this.
Of course.
But he can still hit well, and then we know he can adjust. He seems to be a very smart guy, and he plays intelligent baseball. So he's been great. And the other one is Edgar Quero. And I love this because back when they were talk about, oh, they're talking to the Angels about Giolito and Lopez. And I was going, get Quero, get Quero. I want him to get Quero. I want him to get Quero. And it's nice to, I've been following baseball for 70 years. It's nice to be right on one uh, after all this
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. I mean,
He's been, and again, he's a rookie. They'll figure out what his weakness is, and he won't hit as well. But again, appears to be very smart, appears to be very willing to make adjustments, both defensively, which he needs to do, and offensively. And he'll come and he'll be good, which leads us to the question of catchers. The only category where the White Sox are near the top in baseball references, wins above average. They're in third place, I think, and they're behind weird people, the Cubs and the Brewers. They're the guys you think of as being at the very top of the catcher ranks. They're not there. A lot of them are slumping, but even if they're doing well, they're not there. But the White Sox catchers as a group, there's been some slumping backward. Theis has gone backwards. I think he's hitting 205 now.
Yeah, he's regressed. Yeah.
And it raises the question, though. Now, Quero's got to stay. He has to. He's terrific. Yeah. Corey Lee went out a couple of weeks ago with a sprained ankle. Yesterday, either Venable or Getz said it's going to be another 2 weeks before he comes back. No, I'm sorry. Yes, we had players on the White Sox last year. If they busted a pimple, would have to be out for 3 months. Catchers are made of sterner stuff. Catchers are tough. They take abuse every time they get out there. He is not wimping it out. There's no way he's doing that, both that he's a catcher and because his job is on the line.
Yeah.
What do you do now? So he's not back. I think they're stalling for 2 weeks. And I think when the 2 weeks are up, they'll say, well, he needs to go to Charlotte to rehab for 10 days. So that's going to take care of the month of May. And then he's going to be ready to come back. And what happens? He's probably the odd man out and goes back to Charlotte.
Most likely. But that's not a bad thing. He's a young guy.
No, I mean, he's hitting 333 this year, but that's 15 at bats and 5 hits. Last year he hit, particularly as the year went on, very, very badly. He just wore out. So yeah, for him to go back, the catching situation for the Sox is really good. I mean, Kyle Teal is not tearing up AAA, but he's very respectable. He's got about 750, 760 OPS. Yes, it's a hitter's league. Yes, it's a hitter's park, but he's a catcher, and he's doing that well. Yeah, and reportedly is really excellent defensively.
Yeah, I think catching, we're obviously in a really good spot, and Quero, obviously it's way too early to make any grand statements about him, but I will say, yes, pitchers will adjust, they'll figure things out, so maybe he's not going to hit over 300. Of course, I'll tell you this: if you get a catcher that hits over 300, I mean, go to Vegas immediately. Put everything in a slot and just do it, because that just doesn't exist anymore. I mean, even looking at the elite catchers right now, Will Smith's still on a tear, but Adley Rutschman is even hitting, I think sub 250 these days. What I love about Quero, and this is something that is just so crucial, and it's usually a catcher thing, but it's usually reserved for good catchers. He has more walks than strikeouts. And I know this sample size is small, but
that's a career thing for him. That's been the case through the minors for him, too.
Exactly. And pitchers can adjust to keep you from hitting the ball, but pitchers can't do anything necessarily to just untrain your eye. And he clearly has a very, very trained eye at the plate. And that's exactly what you want from a catcher, because catchers these days, you don't depend on them for hits. You don't depend on them for power nearly as much as you used to. And nowadays, what you need is a catcher who's going to walk. You need a catcher who's just going to get on base. And right now, I mean, his on-base percentage is over 400. And the fact that you have more walks and strikeouts is a spectacular thing, even in a small sample of 6 to 5. That gives me a lot of hope for him, because let's say they figure it out and he goes down to 250. If you get a catcher who's hitting 250 but gets more walks than strikeouts, that is a major league starting every day catcher.
As
Your
long as his
catcher,
defense is okay.
as long as the
And
defense is okay. And the defense just has to be okay. It doesn't even have to be great. It just has to be okay if you're going to put up those numbers.
his defense,
Obviously,
it's defensive ratings so far by the pros who do that kind of thing are fine. And
yeah,
everybody says he's learning. So he'll learn whatever his weaknesses are, he's going to improve. I'm sure framing and that kind of thing.
you got to hope to see a little more. You got to hope that we see some glimpses of power at some point, just to help with that whole thing. I mean, this is
pretty big glimpse of power yesterday. So
yeah, but the ball is not flying out of the stadium off his bat yet. But again, pitchers will adjust, but he will also adjust. He will also keep learning. He will also keep getting better. He gives all the signs of a guy who's hungry to be a great player in Major League Baseball. And that's what more can you ask for from a young catcher?
I think those are two real highlights. To switch to the somewhat, well, a medium light, I think Andrew Benintendi is coming back to reality. His batting average just dropped 50 points or so in the last couple of weeks. He did hit a homer the other day, but I think he's not going to be. I would hope he's not as bad as he was most of last year. But I don't think that the big improvements there. They're learning to adjust on him because they've watched him for years and years, so they know what he's changed, what he's done.
Benintendi is coming back to earth for sure. That I didn't buy into a renaissance of Andrew Benintendi for once.
And then the big question in my mind, I don't know what it is about Tim Elko. The pros don't like him. The people who make prospect rating stuff don't like him. The White Sox just yesterday, Will Venable was saying, well, we'll just have to see what will happen with their Venable is absolutely, Elko is tearing up in Charlotte.
Tearing up.
Charlotte. Absolutely tearing up in Charlotte. And I love the fact that his name is an anagram for toe milk. I think we need that in the major leagues. But Andrew Vaughn, for the 5th consecutive year, we're making excuses for Andrew Vaughn. This year he's hitting the ball hard. He is. The underlying stats say he's got excellent exit velocities. But we make it every year. In 21, the big excuse was, well, he didn't get any minor league because there were no minor leagues in 2020 after he was drafted. Got it. Good excuse. Excellent excuse. In 22, well, he's playing out of position and that's hurting his hitting. I don't buy that. I buy that playing out of position hurts your fielding. Yes, it does. And the worst, I think if you're not hitting, it can hurt your fielding because you can be thinking of other things. At the plate, you've got 0.3 of a second. You're not worried about what you did fielding. You may press a little. You may try too hard if you just gave up 2 runs, but it's not a big factor. So 23, he's in position. 24, he's in position. And now in 25, he now has a career. I just looked it up today. He has a career 0 PWAR.
Yeah.
Now he's dragged down a lot by the fielding numbers. His DWAR is being so horrible. But he's never been above 1.1 WAR.
Yeah.
That's a 2 WAR measures a major league starter level, 2 and above.
Yeah.
He's never been close. I know the whole fan base was saying, don't tender him in the offseason, which they did. They're paying him almost $6 million for a minus 1.3 WAR. It's crazy. Now, then we had this discussion. Why would they do that? Why would they keep? Well, we don't have anybody. There's just nobody else out there, which was true enough. But Elko keeps coming. Now, Elko's not a kid. It's not like he's 21 and we need him to improve and get better. He's 26 or so, I think. About the same age as Vaughn or close to it. Why isn't he up for a try? They're moving guys in and out all the time. Guys are going on the IL. And Vaughn's still there. He's the worst, 2nd year in a row, and it may be 3 years. I just didn't go back. The worst defensive first baseman in baseball. tied with other guys. But last year he was tied with Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and Pete Alonso. They hit a little
Well,
better than
they
he does.
they they offer
This year,
something
this
else.
year he's
Yeah.
tied with Paul Goldschmidt at the bottom of the defense ratings. Those guys are all way, 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 way better than he is for a reason.
Yeah.
And they're tolerated as horrible defenders for a reason. There's no reason to tolerate him. If you can bring up Elko, give him a chance. Maybe he can't hit major league hitting. Maybe he's one of those 4A guys that the White Sox are famous for coming up with. But bring him up for a month and see.
You got to
Yeah.
see. I mean, the Andrew Vaughn experiment's over, and they just keep holding on to it for dear life. And I like Andrew Vaughn. I think Andrew
Oh, he
Vaughn.
seems like a very, very nice man.
Yeah, he seems like a great
Very
guy.
good guy.
I bet he's
But
great to have around, but I mean, he's just offering nothing at the major league level, like nothing close to anything. And I think they just, I don't know if it's because he was drafted so high and he came with hype that they're just holding on to this dream of Andrew Vaughn. But you know, the experiment's over. It's over. Like it's just not happening, and you're not going to get anything for him. So maybe they're just like trying to see if he can do anything before the deadline to try to garner up some interest from other teams. But it's just not going to happen. I mean,
and it can't happen because they don't have a first baseman anywhere in the system other than Elko. So why not bring Elko up and see if he can be a major league? It can't be worse defensively. Can't be. That's Picasso in front of City Hall isn't worse defensively than Andrew Vaughn. Give him a chance to see if he can hit major league pitching. I don't
think honestly, when it comes to playing first
don't
base,
understand that.
When it comes to playing first base in the majors, you could get anyone on your roster up to speed to play first base as well as Andrew.
Look what they did last night after they got the lead. They brought in Amaya at shortstop, and it's a shame Amaya can't hit. I mean, he's down to 070 or something. He's the only, other than there are two good defensive players on this team, Luis and Amaya. Well, and the catchers, but you see out on the field that can watch do good things. He's a very fine shortstop, but there's a limit to how low you can go on the hitting. But they brought him in. Mydroth had been at short. He's kind of adequate there. They moved him over to second, and then they moved Lenin Sosa from second over to first to play first base and took Vaughn off the field. Lenin's hitting pretty well. I mean, he's hitting surprisingly well.
Yeah, he has. He's been
he's also a terrible defender. He's a horrible second baseman.
But maybe he can be an okay first baseman. Yeah.
Make him the first baseman.
We do have to take our break here. We got chatty, you know, Vaughn will do that to you. He just gets you going. He's just so exciting out there. But let's take a quick break and we'll be right back on Sharing Sox. Welcome back to Sharing Sox. We have dissected some of the individual players. I would like to go on a rant now.
That's something new.
And here is my rant. And this is what is driving me crazy. It's making me hate Major League Baseball. And not really Major League Baseball, but the White Sox for the moment. But they're not to blame. The Colorado Rockies are to blame. We spent all year last year. The one exciting thing that we had last year was this chase to 121. The thing that we thought no team would ever do again. Something so majestically terrible that it became a reason to watch the White Sox play. And then this year, we're even worse on paper. We get rid of Crochet and we start foaming at the mouth thinking 125, 128. Is it possible? And every think piece is saying it's not possible. It's so hard to lose 121 games again. It will never happen. The White Sox will be the worst team to have ever played Major League Baseball. And I would read that and I think we got something. We got a record. We got something we can be proud of at the end of the day, that we were alive and we witnessed the worst season ever. And then 2025 starts up, and I'm thinking, here we go again. Another roller coaster ride to the bottom, to the pits of despair and agony. But I was ready. I was excited. I was like, let's get it. Let's be even worse than last year. Give us something to watch. Give me a reason to buy a ticket to go to a game to watch the White Sox play. And then in saunter the Colorado Rockies, a team that's so bad, it's like they placed bets at the beginning of the year that they could dethrone the White Sox after just 1 year. And is there anything worse than holding a record that doesn't even make it through one season? If the Rockies get to 122, last year was for nothing. They're going to take away an entire year of our lives, a year of watching this miserable team play that ended in this glorious achievement of being terrible. And we're going to lose it because this Rockies team is the worst thing I've ever seen in my life in any pro sport across the major four sports. I've never seen anything like it. It's like they watched the White Sox play last year and they said to themselves, we can be twice as bad as that. I am fuming over the Colorado Rockies. Sure, you're in the NL West. The NL West seems to be 4 playoff teams plus you. That sucks. I get it. You've got no reason to live. But what we are seeing in Colorado is shameful. It is shameful. I don't know how those guys put on that jersey every night and go out there. But I'll tell you this. If they dethrone the 2024 White Sox as the worst team ever, I will go to Coors Field and I will boo them from the first pitch to the end of a game if they take this from us. I will buy Rockies jerseys and burn them on TikTok. I will speak ill words.
This is getting very, very expensive for you now because this is going to happen.
Look, I'll get another job. I'll take out a second mortgage on the house I don't own. I'll do whatever I have to do because every day that I look at the scores and I see the Rockies have biffed it again, I just get angrier and angrier that they're going to take this from us. And then also, so now what are we watching this year? We're just watching a regular bad team be bad. Like, what?
Yes.
Why would we watch the White Sox play this year if the Rockies are so much worse? They get the novelty. We don't even get the novelty. Even the new milkshake's not that exciting this year. So
no, that one's just for children.
The birthday cake shake. I mean, what are we doing? You go from the iconic s'more shake that sent the world into a tizzy to this birthday cake shake. The White Sox have nothing left to offer. They can't even be better than anyone else. My rant.
It's sad. It's sad. Okay, you done? I think you got it off your chest there.
I mean, I'm going to be mad about this for the next.
Well, you're right. Months, I look at the standings probably every day, and I always check to see if Colorado finally won one.
And they never do.
After day after day. They've got it locked up, and I think they're going to break the record. I don't know what they can do to change that.
I'm so jealous of their fans right now. I'm jealous that they get this throw right. They might get 130. They might get 135. I mean, this is
as you mentioned, that NL West, it's more balanced schedule than it used to be, but it's still 52 games against those 4 other teams in the NL West.
They might go 0-13 against all 4 of them. I mean, they are just absolutely pathetic, and it's crushing my spirit as a White Sox fan. Crushing.
All right, talking about crushed spirits, I got to believe that Colson Montgomery's is getting there.
Oh yeah, did you see the latest
last show
rankings?
We talked about is this the last year chance for Colson, and we kind of thought so, and now they've dumped him from Charlotte to send him to Arizona to work on his swing. That's not a good sign that you are progressing in baseball.
No, no.
Maybe a miracle happens. Somebody can get him to make whatever alterations he needs to make. Lots of first round draft choices for every team don't make it.
Totally.
And this just looks like one.
I saw the latest
not there.
The latest ESPN. They were grading the farms, which they did still list the White Sox as the second best farm system.
Yes, they did.
Dropped Montgomery, who was in the 1 slot, down to 7th, and I think that is violently trending downward. He's not even the highest ranked Montgomery.
Right. Braden Montgomery looks like he's starting out terrific. There's no way he's playing this year in the majors. Probably not next year until maybe late in the year. Just because he's played no pro ball at all until the last month,
right.
Because of the injury he had in the College World Series that kept him out of baseball for a year. But he's looked really good. Some of these other young guys, Chase Meidroth, doing exactly what you were hoping Chase Meidroth would be able to do. Brooks Baldwin is playing better than I think anybody would have expected him to play. And he's come in handy in the outfield side, which brings up another thing. In addition to Corey Lee being on the IL, we've got 3 position players, 3 guys out in the field who've been on the IL all of the season in the case of Josh Rojas, and most of the season in the case of Mike Tauchman and Austin Slater. Those guys are all 30 or older.
Yeah.
When they come off the IL, they'll be replacing some young guy.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, I talked about this a lot.
Will they make the team a handful of games better over the course of the season? Yes. Is it possible if they get really good? After you've been out for a month injured, people are going to be looking askance at you come trade deadline. If you're not getting much for them at this point, unless they hit 400 when they come off the IL. Josh Rojas in particular is going to take time from the infielders, who we've got some who could use some practice. And he's apparently going to be the shortstop. People quit using him as a shortstop 3 years ago.
Yeah,
he played a lot of shortstop early, but not lately. They just quit. He can't. He's not there. And Tauchman's a good defender, but we've got an older good defender now around Luis and Michael A. Thomas. Now, if they do what we've suggested at the beginning of the show and trade Luis today, then Michael has to go to center, and we've got room for another outfielder. But I don't know. I don't see taking time away from the young guys. It doesn't make sense.
Well, I've always been in that camp as well. And now I feel a little differently now that we actually do see some signs of hope for the future. When we had no hope, I was like, just put them out there. But now I'm like, let's actually maybe develop these guys on the more calculated path. Like we're seeing great stuff from Brooks Baldwin, but Brooks Baldwin has 4 walks to 24 strikeouts. That's an absolutely
I think Brooks Baldwin will, unless he has a big breakthrough, he's got utility guy written across there.
But some guys really do just need time at those lower levels. The good ones, the guys who absolutely are going to be major league players, need time at the lower levels to catch up to the speed of the game and catch up to the speed of the pitching and the difficulty of the pitching. So I do totally agree. I obviously don't want to watch a team that's a bunch of 30-year-old guys who shouldn't be playing Major League Baseball. But I also don't want to see these young guys who have tons of potential come up and just get destroyed as pitchers figure them out because they weren't ready to face major league pitching, and just have their confidence destroyed and risk injury, overexerting to try to make up for the fact that they're being outplayed. I used to be so hard, like, put them out there, let's see how it goes. Right now, I'm a little less in that camp because I think we actually have guys who might make this a winning ball club in 2027 or 2028. And I don't want to risk just ending up with a bunch of Andrew Vaughns. And I don't know that that's exactly why Andrew Vaughn got to where he is, but I do think that there is a risk in not developing these guys, which I didn't care about 2 years ago when it was just clearly like, we're just going to suck. We're just going to be the bad team. But now I'm like, 2027, I'm not sure we're going to be the bad team. I'm not sure we're going to be terrible in 2027. I'm not sure we're going to be terrible in 2028. We might be competitive in 2028. So I totally get what you're saying, and a huge part of me agrees with you. But another part of me is like, if keeping them in AA and AAA means that they're going to be better in 2026 or 2027, 2028, then just keep them down there. Just keep them down there. Keep them out of this slog of a garbage major league team. Keep them out of that level of this organization in general where everything sucks, and let them develop so that maybe by the time they are ready and hopefully the organization's in a little bit better shape, they can come up and actually succeed, because I do have a lot of faith in a lot of these young guys, and I don't want them to blow out everything that they could have by coming up too soon.
Well, there is that. The good thing is Chris Getz is no longer in charge of player development, so we may have actual professional people who know what they're doing there that can help out. Whereas Getz just runs the major league team now because that's where his job is concentrated. We have not mentioned, we've been doing all position players. I think we've covered every position except pitcher. The starting pitchers, they had a great start. They kind of for a while. Some of these guys are looking very good again. Sean Burke, Shane Smith, very good starts last couple times out. David, I mean, all four of them. And Martin Perez is gone, so we don't worry about the 34-year-old there. We only got young guys. The bullpen is starting to be what all the professionals thought they would be, which is very, very bad. But although not universally, there've been some brighter type things in the bullpen. But the starting pitchers, those young guys, all of whom are on team control forever, have looked by and large quite good. Now, one thing they've done, I think 3 of the last 4 games, maybe 4 of the last 5, has used an opener.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of that? It's kind of
totally fine with it. Totally fine with it. When you are a team with no chance of being competitive, I'm totally fine with it. Get guys.
Yeah, I am too. I mean, I just get your. I mean, the theory of the opener. First of all, it started with good teams. Had that idea. Tampa Bay, basically, and the theory is your starting pitcher doesn't have to face the very best batters on the other team first time he's out there. And of course, we know not just the White Sox, everywhere. It's a thing that starting pitcher's worst inning is the first inning. Even for
first
very
inning,
good ones.
and then the third time they see them.
But much later on. They get worn out. They get third time through the order and those kind of things. But the first inning is a struggle. They're not settled in yet. Steve Stone has mentioned, especially guys who throw a sinker, it doesn't sink yet because you're throwing too hard because your adrenaline's pumped. There are a lot of reasons for it. The White Sox had 2 homers off Freddie Peralta in the first inning the other day, and Andrew Vaughn got a hit off him. And after that first inning, they had 1 single in the next 8 innings, which tells you about how important the first inning is. So it is, if you can get a guy who's a reliable opener, it's been kind of iffy on that. But the concept is, I agree with the concept, particularly because the pitchers are so young. and you're
Yeah,
giving them all these young pitchers a little break at the start of their day. They still prepare just like they're starting the first inning.
totally.
Um, they also have the fact they could get a win on their record for less than 5 innings work,
True. Yeah,
which
absolutely. I
is
mean, no
one
one
of those
cares about wins
vagaries of
anymore,
major league
but
statistics.
yeah, I think. Well, one, I'm really pleased with the starting pitchers. I mean, are they all aces already? No, of course not. But I do think we are seeing guys pitch at where I would expect or better than I would
Well,
expect.
I think
And
probably 4 for 4 better.
I mean, Shane Smith he's good. He is a good starting pitcher right now. ERA is at 2.2.
He
Whip
may
is
be one of
just
the best Rule
barely
5
over
pickups ever.
one. Yeah, I mean, I truly had a friend send me a picture of Shane Smith the other day, and all he said with the text was Rule 5 God, because who knew? Who knew? And I mean, he looks absolutely legit. Like there's nothing about him. I mean, the guy has pitched 32 innings and given up one home run in Major League Baseball in 2025. Any team on earth, if you say we'll give you a starter that could throw 32 innings and give up only one home run, you're signing him. You're taking him. I mean, baseball's home runs. So the fact that we've got a guy in that place, plus, guys aren't getting on base. A whip at 1.08, guys aren't getting on base. That's ace level statistics. That's really spectacular. The other guys aren't sitting quite as lovely, but Sean Burke, it depends what day you see him. But
Yeah, I mean, he's had some very, very bad days, but when he's on, which he was yesterday,
when he's on,
lights
he
out.
looks elite. Yeah, absolutely. The kind of stuff where the way we were talking about Garrett Crochet a few years ago. When Garrett Crochet comes out and he's got it, he looks absolutely elite. When he doesn't have it, different story. But guys like that tend to turn into aces. They tend to turn into aces because the stuff is there. It's just about the mental game. It's just about, command. It's just about becoming a pitcher more than a thrower. I'm extremely pleased with the starting pitching. I think the future is very bright. Now, of course, everybody's going to get Tommy John at some point, and that changes everything because that's just how baseball works now.
But so
But
far, it's only the old guy.
right, yeah. Hopefully that's not true. Hopefully I'm making a generalization that doesn't come to fruition. But unfortunately, that just does seem to be how baseball works right now. But I'm extremely pleased with the starting pitching, and I think not mentioning the bullpen is exactly how we should end this podcast
Okay,
today,
that's fair.
because there's no reason to go down that rabbit hole after talking about something actually quite hopeful and delightful. So
With two
let's,
more starting pitchers down in Birmingham
yeah,
who are really, really good,
yeah,
pending injury.
who look really, really good and look well on track to become decent major league starters. And I'm really, really positive on the pitching outlook for the White Sox. And if
And
you can
I
keep
will
them
not
healthy,
mention that if you are going to be dependent on pitching rather than hitting, which is just the case with the White Sox, they have virtually nothing in the minors other than maybe Tim Elko, who gets no credit in the way of position players. But they've
yeah,
got solid pitchers, even beyond Smith and Schultz, but they've got more. Uh, but if you're going to be very pitching dependent, you also become defense dependent.
true.
And that's something that really, really, really needs work. It's not like this year, it's been a decade of horrible defense.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, especially because these guys who are coming up aren't, they're not 13 Ks per nine style of pitchers, which is good for watching baseball. You're not just watching strikeouts, home runs, and walks, but you do need a defense behind a pitcher that is averaging 6 or 7 Ks per game. It means a lot of balls are actually being fielded by the other 8 guys on the field, and defense does matter. But as of right now, it doesn't matter. We're not competitive. That's just something they can be focusing on moving forward, because it does look like it will be a pitching and defense situation to make them competitive again in the coming years, unless all of the sudden we just decide we're going to start spending money on guys who can hit the ball.
Excuse me. Did you read the obits with Jerry Reinsdorf in there?
I think we both know that's not going to happen. So that is all the time we have for today. Any final thoughts before we sign off?
Yeah.
All right. I'm excited. I'm going to see the White Sox in person in Cincinnati on May 15th. If you'd like to join me, hit us up. I'd love to have some other Sox fans there. It is a 12:40 p.m. Thursday matinee, which I would assume I will be the only person there if no one takes me up on that offer. But I'm excited to see him in person, and hopefully I'll get one of our good-looking young starting pitchers. That would be a lot of fun for me. But that's all the time we have for today. Thanks so much for listening. We'll catch you next time on Sharing Sox.